Deputy Speaker, I rise to participate in the discussion on the political issue. Well, this is a very important topic. If we are given a very short span of time, I'm afraid we will make mistake while narrating our bone of contention. I'll come straight to the point. It is said that what brings Nagas together is pork. Honorable Deputy Speaker said, pork curry also brings Nagas together. But another very important issue that brings Nagas together is the Naga political issue. And therefore, on this basis, today we all have come together, although elected from different political parties, but keeping the Naga political issue in mind with all seriousness. We all have extended our support to this present government under the leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister Niphiri. And therefore it is befitting that we discuss this issue seriously. But of course, our role on this Naga political issue, Honorable Deputy Speaker said, is very, very limited. We are an elected member from within the Indian Constitution, and therefore we can express debate, but as far as practical involvement in the process is concerned, our role is absolutely limited, Honorable Deputy Speaker said. Many of us seniors would grumble, but without going back to legal history, it is very difficult to connect Naga political issue to the present context. From 1944, I'll not go back to 18th century, I'll come back to 19th century, Honorable Deputy Speakers. When Nehru was in jail, he has written in his Discovery of India, you will find in page 545, where he was talking about the tribals within the Indian subcontinent. And he has recorded that an exercise be made, 10 years be made, a period of 10 years be given, to express their mind as to whether they would wish all these people to be a part of India. And he was particularly referring to the Nagas, because we have met our point from 1929 onwards. The record was clear. So although he was in the jail in 1944, Nehru was in the know of the Naga political in Brooklyn. And therefore, he has recorded in his book, I have the book with me, and on that basis, that was 1944 report. Then in 1947, the 9-point agreement came. So 10 years provision was there. I have stated this in the last house in the debate on this political issue, that there was a variation of interpretations within the NNC and the government of India. Because in the provision of the 9-point agreement, after 10 years, the NNC will be given an option whether they would wish to be a part of India or they would wish to settle a freedom for the Naga people. So the interpretation was that the NNC, the Naga people took it that yes, this after 10 years, we will decide on our own. On the part of the government of India, they started interpreting that no, after 10 years, you should amalgamate, merge within the Union of India. So that variation, the conflict of interest in the interpretation came in. Now if we come back to the present context, as far as the 17 November 2017 agreement is concerned, that is the agreed position between the government of India and the NNBGs. They have umpteen times told us that they are ready to sign. It is all agreed upon, because the word itself is already agreed position, and they have stated this on numerous occasions. But where has the bone of contention comes in? The NSCNIM, their framework agreement with the government of India. Now, the interpretation comes in here. To the mind of the NSCNIM, they keep saying that we have never surrendered our rights, our sovereignty, because in the framework itself, if you go through very thoroughly, in the middle portion of the agreement, you will find sharing of sovereign power, Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir. Where does sovereign, the word sovereign comes in? Sovereignty comes in, and that is what we are talking. So, in their interpretation, they are telling us, they are telling the world that, look, we have not surrendered the sovereign power of the Naga people. Now the government of India is trying to interpret in such a way that there is a state list, there is a union list, there is a concurrent list in the 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution. Well, I'm afraid if we started interpreting from that context, it will be wrong. Because the NSC and I am understanding is that this framework agreement is outside the Indian Constitution. And this is where, like that of the 9-point agreement, the present framework agreement has reached that kind of deadlock in the interpretation. What role can we play? As I said, our role is very limited. We have been enunciating, expounding that we are playing the role of only facilitator. We have adjectivated with active facilitator. That's correct. And we will continue to do that. I think we cannot go beyond that. If we try to interfere beyond that, we will end up like that of the 1960s agreement, where in interim period for 3 years, after that from 1st of December 1963 onwards, the statehood was given. Who has signed that, Deputy Speaker, sir? The mediator. They go in between, turn into a signatory. There, everything went wrong. The NNC said, no, we're not a part of this. So the struggle, the conflict continues. Because the main contenders were not a part of the signatories. So this is where the struggle continues. And even after this creation of statehood, with the signing of this 16-point agreement from 1960 onwards, Nehru, although he was the one who kept saying that even if India goes into pieces, even if the country runs into blood, all country runs in rivers with blood, I will not give the Nagas independence. He kept saying like that. But if you see the record, he was very anxious, because some of the scholars says, Honorable Deputy Speaker, that Nehru died out of heart attack. One reason is, of course, the Chinese aggression in 1962 towards Arunachal side. But another reason was on the Naga political movement, Honorable Deputy Speaker said. That is, some of the scholars say so. And how I will corroborate that to you, Honorable Deputy Speaker said. There is a record, there is a possibility. Because although the ceasefire between the NNC-FGN came into being on the 6th of September 1964, but the preparation, everything was done by May 1964. Official declaration took place only on the 6th of September, but May. So, in the later part of May, Nehru died. According to Reverend Michael Scott record, the search for peace. He died right after signing the ceasefire, 2 days after the ceasefire. So Nehru was worried, probably, extremely worried of this Naga political issue. Now, why he should be worried? When the state was created in 1960 and the movement intensified. So after creation of the state in 1963, let us say 1960, because 60 to 63 is the interim government, so we will say 1960. So 60, after 4 years also, he was engaged with the Naga political issue, his mind, and he has engaged people in the person of Jayaprakash Narayan, Reverend Michael Scott, and E.B. Chale. These were 3 people who were engaged to tackle the Naga people. Now, in that record, Nehru was anxious, and according to Michael Scott, what he was trying to say was, Nehru was, when the ceasefire was first mooted, Mr. Nehru, just a short sentence, Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir. Mr. Nehru had promised that if cessation of operation could be arranged, he would preside at the talks himself. he was saying that even if blood runs like red throughout India, he will not give independence to the Naga people. Now in 1964, he is saying that he has told Reverend Michael Scott that if secession of operation could be arranged, he would preside at the talks himself. Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir. He had also expressed, he means Reverend Michael Scott, referring to Nehru. He had also expressed interest in the suggestions I had made, means Reverend Michael have told him, a mix into Naga Commission, which would be qualified to deal with many aspects of the Naga problem: constitutional, sociological, anthropological, and the political aspects vis-a-vis Naga politics and Indian Union politics. So all these words encompassed what we were looking for. And Nehru was interested. Nehru was interested to tackle the Naga political issue by himself, even after creating this statehood. Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir. Now, the conflict of interest have come in. How many prime ministers have handled this issue so far? The present issue, I'll not go into Indira Gandhi times, Nehru, now come back to the present one. Rajesh Pilot was the minister in charge of internal security affairs during the Congress regime. Narasimha Rao was the prime minister. He has personally entrusted Rajesh Pilot to talk to this NSA and IM leadership, looking for them. They were not in India, looking for Taiwan. I have also experienced by myself, prior to 1997, the present ceasefire came in with effect on 1st of August 1997. So prior to that, I was in the organizations, various organizations. So a lot of factional clash, killing within Naga family also. Then also, the more worse was fighting with the Indian forces, Indian paramilitary forces within Naga national group. So we go looking, picking up dead bodies. I know lots of situations. But after the onset of the ceasefire, we have, of course, we are enjoying a little bit of peace. Now, if I know we all are frustrated with the mushrooming of the factions, but if we mood an idea that for an elected member like us, that okay, we go without ceasefire, then I think the situation will be very grave. And therefore, to my mind, we will play a very active role as a facilitator, but not as a participant to the ongoing dialogue. Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, I would like to insist that as far as our role is concerned, what more can we do? I have stated this in the past assemblies also. Under Article 3 of the Indian Constitution, it is permissible for us integration of the Naga areas, because state borders boundaries can be altered, it can be decreased, it can be increased. So these are within the bounds of our discussions, our domain, where we can adopt a resolution. And therefore, even today, Honorable Deputy Speaker said, I am appealing to you, to your chair, that out of this discussion, we must reiterate our earlier resolutions, 6 resolutions that we have adopted in 1960, in 1970, 94, in 2003, in 2015, and in 2018. After 2023 election, we have not reiterated our resolutions. I feel guilty to our people, and therefore, I will insist to our Leader of the House, Honorable CM also, and to you, that we must reiterate, adopt the resolution again. We are all aware of our ENBO demand also. That is also one part of this integration of the Naga areas, and therefore, taking all this, encompassing all this, we must reiterate, this House must reiterate integration of the Naga contiguous areas, which is permissible within the purview of our House. Now, I'm just concluding, which Achumbemo has slightly mentioned, how the present factions have come up. Indian intelligence is actively involved. After the 1951 plebiscite, Honorable Deputy Speaker sir, this is the book compilation, My Years with Nehru, P.N. Maluk. He was intelligence chief, very close to Pandit Nehru. Just one sentence. After the 1951 plebiscite, they tried their best, level best, to negate 1951 plebiscite. How? History will prove. This is written by him, My Years with Nehru. It's not my words. How they have played. So, we have advocated military measures in Gyeongsang, where there was no administration previously, because they were part of Nepal, an administered area, and which was not officially under the Naga National Council. It was apparent to us that something in the nature of a political settlement was necessary in the Naga Hills district. It was plain that the resolution on the plebiscite, without evidence, I'll not speak, speakers. These are evidence, which the All Tribal Conference of the NNC had passed at Kohima in 1951, could only be undone by another resolution passed by an equally representative conference of all the tribals of the Naga Hills district. And unless this was done, the tribals would be bound by the original resolution, and it would be difficult to shake them off from it. That SM That was the intelligence chief passed in Kohima. That conceived a brilliant idea. See, to tell me the brilliant idea of mobilizing those members of the NNC Executive Council who had broken away from PISO. They tried to divide the NNC after the 1951 plebiscite, and these are the evidence they have recorded. Broken away from PISO, and who had been kept in the background by him and Impungmer and Au, and convening an all-tribal conference of the Nagas with their help. That was fully supported by us. That was fully supported by us in this move. And I personally kept the Prime Minister and the Home Minister informed, and they were also quite taken up with this idea and wanted this to be done. This conference was planned to be called at Jakama in the Naga Hills district in the beginning of March 1956. It was also planned that the conference would depose PISO from the presidency of NNC and denounce the federal government and the violent methods started by it. So this the record will show. So these are the things which the same methodology, the same modus operandi is being applied even today by Indian intelligence to divide the Naga people further, east and west, north and south, even within the factions. So therefore, in my humble submission, Honorable Deputy Speaker sir, I think we cannot go beyond the role that we can play. Yes, we all wanted early, immediate solution, but I think our leaders, they have sacrificed a lot for this cause. We cannot just rush and conclude. Let me conclude with what PISO interviewed, just 3 sentences. This is in 1985, in the United Kingdom, where what PISO has said in one of his interviews. What was the outcome after meeting with Jawaharlal Nehru? Because he also met Nehru. Nehru offered me many times for honorable public officers in India. But I refused many times, and totally he offered me a blank political check, but I refused. In 1947, Nehru asked me to become the governor of Assam, since Nagaland was then known as the Naga Hills district of Assam. But I refused. Nehru asked me to become the chief minister of Assam, but I refused. And again, in 1952, Nehru asked me to become the president of India, but I flatly refused. I told Nehru a number of times to treat the Nagas as equals among the free nations of the world, then said on March 20, 1952. So I think a lot of offers have been made to our leadership. Even today, we never know. Such kind of offer may be going on. But the leadership knows better how to bring an honorable solution for our Naga people. We can only play a limited role of an active facilitator. I think we must confine to that while putting across our point of view on this issue. Thank you for the time given, speakers.